the highest authority in the Nzemaland. I would like to break a quacker more autoslensa. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen of the press. On behalf of the youth of Nzemaland, and indeed all the good people of our part of the country, we warmly welcome you to this press conference. Our objective today for holding this press conference is to convey to all Ghanaians about the ill treatment the government has subjected the people of the Nzemaland to and how it continues to abuse our lenity. Before assembling here, we received nearly 2,000 signatories of our youth who have done so to demonstrate their anger at the government and their resolve to die for the good of Nzemaland. Before I proceed, let me state that our land has had such a rich and glamorous past, and the youth of today have a duty to look back to it as a way of gaining inspiration and to continue with it so as not to be seen to have disappointed the ghost of those who came before us. What I'm saying is that Nzemaland has never been short of pioneers who, at the expense of their lives, stood firm in the face of all manner of tasks and threats, but the end served as a light for other lives to go on. Mention must be made of the illustrious career of Professor Anton William Amo, who is on record as having been the first black scholar. At a time when black people were being shaped in their thousands to serve as slaves in Europe and Americas, this Nzema boy competed with white scholars and ended up as a professor of philosophy in 4 leading German universities, namely Hampstead, Wittenberg, Hull, and Jena universities. Tribute must be paid to Chief Gianni Kone, who seized the German fort at Princestown and succeeded in slaughtering over 500 Dutch nationals as a way of exhibiting the black power to the Europeans on the coast. Honor must be shown to the name of our revered King Kekwaka I, who was the only chief to have refused to sign the bond of 1844 on grounds that the essence of it all was to colonize the people, even though he knew the bloody consequence involved in his refusal to sign. Attention must be given to George Alfred Wandechi Grant, alias Pa Grant, who used his resources to form the first political party in the Gold Coast, all because he wanted this country to get out of colonial bondage. Finally, let us pay an exceptional homage to Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Africa's greatest man of the last millennium and founder of the modern state of Ghana, whose name would have been in the New Testament had he been born at the time of Jesus Christ. When we remember this, our ancestors, who count among the finest of personages that God in his supreme wisdom has given to Africa, then we are inspired to fight the battle that will give protection and justice to our people and equity to the generation that will come after us. Ever since the infamous overthrow of the son of our soil, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in 1966, successive governments, with a singular exception of the People's National Party, PNP, led by Dr. Hilary Mann of blessed memory, no government has shown any regard or respect for us Nzemas as a people. Concerning this government, the records are there for all of you to see that it has not considered any Nzema man or woman worthy of any ministerial position in the second term of the Akufo-Addo government, as if to say Nzemas have no brains or not fit for any public appointment. But as a people, Nzemas are enterprising, and we have always kept our destinies in our own hands, and so we have not been bothered much about the aforesaid deliberate, prejudicial, and discriminative policies against us. No, we have kept quiet all along. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the good book through the pen of the wisest king who ever lived, Solomon, says, there is time for everything. a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to keep silent and a time to speak. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Nzemaland has been silent for quite too long. This is the time to break our silence. The famous Nigerian writer, Wole Soyinka, says, "The man dies in awe who keeps silent in the face of tyranny." We strongly believe that if we do not rise up today and speak for ourselves, our people, and our land, we shall perish tomorrow. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is our story. On Monday, the 5th of July, we, the good people of the Nzemaland, read with shock and fury that the Deputy Minister of Land and Mineral Resources, the Western Regional Minister, the NPP Regional Chairman, the Jomoro MCE, Awulai Anoje III of Benin, the DC of Elembele, Mr. Kwesibonzo, had come to Kwabli in the Jomoro district to launch another death trap called community mining. Community mining is just a glorified name for Galamsey. In Jomoro, not only is Kwabli and its environs the breadbasket of the people, it is also said to be a critical watershed area, and any mining there would pose a major threat of flooding to all the central parts of Jomoro. Many people in Nzema are worried, and rightfully so, especially given the devastation that mining in Ghana is disastrous, as many of our water bodies have been wrecked with a miasma of cyanide and mercury, thus causing serious birth defects in some communities in Ghana. The very names mentioned in this project, George Mrekuduka of Takwa Iswaib, now Deputy Minister, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and Kwesibonzo of Elembele, have already presided over extreme destruction in their respective communities. We call on President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, his government, Honorable Samuel Bujinapo, Minister, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, his deputy, George Mrekuduka, Honorable Kobi Ochiridako, Minister, Western Region, MCEs of Ahanta West and Jomoro, and Awulai Anoje III of Jomoro, to halt any plans for community mining in Mampehia and Kwabre with immediate effect. They should rather focus their attention on genuinely solving the significant environmental problem that's been caused by the disastrous management of mining in Ghana, especially in Western Region. The 20,000 acres land for the petroleum hub on Bonyere Stool land. Some months ago, the entire nation learned from various sources that the government was to set up a $60 billion oil hub project in the Jomoro district of Nzema. Later, it was shown that the government had met the paramount chief of Western Nzema, Awulai Anoje III, and acquired from him a parcel of land measuring 20,000 acres for the said project, which said land is situated on Bonyere Stool land. Every citizen wants to see development on their land, but development should not be the basis for trouble anywhere. In the first place, the president, who is himself a lawyer, is in the best position to know that paramount chiefs are not the ones in immediate possession of lands in Ghana. There are individuals and families who own the land and use same to serve the divisional stool. Then the divisional stool uses it to serve the paramount stool. In the peculiar case of Nzema, the undeniable historical fact is that the Agona or Invavle people, led by Amihekwenyi I, broke the virgin forest of the land. Their stool is now being occupied by Tumuvle Awulaika Kwaka III. And so therefore, there can never be any piece of Nzemaland lying in the east or west which can be disposed of by the Nzema people or anyone without his inclusion as the undisputed alludia owner. In other words, our position is that there can be no valid transfer of land in Nzema without the involvement of all chiefs and direct occupants of the land. There is no way the government can successfully deal with any single person and expect that it will not yield trouble in the area. In this wise, we want government to put on hold any purported agreement with Ewuleyan III with respect to the aforesaid 20,000 acres of land for the oil hub until it is ready to include all other stakeholders. The youth of the Nzemaland would like to caution the government to stop doing politics with Western Traditional Council headed by Ewuleyan III to take over the Nzemaland. Why 20,000 acres of land for a petroleum hub in Ghana with a population of 32 million compared to 8,000 acres of land for the largest petroleum hub in Jamnagar in India with a population of 1.39 billion? 90% of unemployment among the Nzema youth. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, troubling to live in the midst of this plethora of expansive natural resources and be saddled with a depressing and humiliating 90% unemployment rate among Nzema youth. A great number of our teeming and educated Nzema youth are not gainfully employed. Even though Ghana Gas Company, ENI Company, BCM Mining Limited, Quantum, and some others are established on Nzemaland, exploiting our resources. Many young people from other regions are always transported all over the country to Nzema for employment through protocol. Debilitating poverty is crushing many of our youth due to unemployment, and very soon, if this injustice is not rectified, the center will not hold. The people of the Nzemaland can no longer bear the searing heat emanating from the processing of the gas from Ghana Gas, culminating in skin rashes with excruciating pain. Again, the price disparity in filling the bigger cylinder at 105 Ghana cedis and smaller one at 56 Ghana cedis in the Nzema area, whilst the same sizes cost 85 cedis and 48 Ghana cedis to be filled respectively in Takoradi. All Nzemas must have 40% discount in the price of filling the cylinders at the various gas stations. Ghana Gas land compensation. Our investigations have revealed that notwithstanding the plethora of cases pending the High Court as to who qualifies to receive compensation with reference to the Ghana Gas acquired lands, one Asante Bediatu, an executive secretary at the Jubilee House, being a cousin to the president, is using that position to make payments to his friend Ewuleyan III of Atuabo anytime soon. At this point, all objective-minded Ghanaians will discern that it is the intention of the government to aid Ewuleyan III to receive compensation in the case of the oil and gas hub lands being 20,000 acres, which is in the Western Nzema, and the land aid to Ewuleyan III to receive payment for Ghana Gas operations in Eastern Nzema. The mindset is to avoid the inclusion of the chiefs and people of the area who are the actual owners of the land, so as to avoid paying the right compensation and pay peanuts to the usurpers who would vanish into thin air with their booty. Our warning is that since we cannot condone wrongdoing and cheating on any part of Nzemaland, the government should allow the court to settle land disputes connection with the two aforementioned purported government acquisitions. Indeed, the purpose of this press conference is to inform the government in no uncertain terms that if any money is paid to those two paramount chiefs, namely Ewuleyan III and Ewuleyan III, in connection with lands in Nzema, in particular the lands meant for the oil and gas hub, and that of the Ghana Gas project, we will not hesitate to block the Axim Elibo Mpataba International Motor Road and also barricade the gas facilities at Atuabo to halt movement of fuel tankers to the site until the monies are retrieved and given to the rightful owners. We know and fully anticipate that upon this press statement, security forces will be sent to our land to treat us the same way as has happened to those innocent Ghanaian youth at Ejura only a couple of days ago. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the youth of Nzema are prepared for it. The good thing is that when the last of us dies, no one will live to tell the story. Then our blood will be upon the head of everyone in this government, their children and their children's children. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your presence this morning. May God bless us all. Thank you.
A wonderful question. One, let me come to the second one about the watershed. We've had a survey. We've been there ourselves. And then history tells us that that place is a watershed. That's the more reason why we are asking President and then the government to halt. Because if even it is going to be underground mining, we are thinking about those going down there. If it is going to be a surface mining, when rain falls, floods, it happened to Telekubukazo, to which we lost a 16-year-old girl, and we don't want that thing to happen to Jomoro. That's the more reason why we are asking the president to halt. The fact that the president has commissioned the site doesn't mean he can start until or unless he sit down with us. We know what plans he has put in place. Now they say mercury-free machine. Fine. If mercury-free machine is out, what are the plans for the land? And then that of the rivers around. What are the plans for the rivers around and then the land? When the person finishes, is he going to reclaim it back? What is the bond? These are what we want the government to sit down with us for us to know, so that we gave him the chance to do. And is he going to compensate those people who have plantations on the land? These are what we want to know. That's the more reason I say we should halt. President should halt. Until we get to know those things, he can't.
So, are you suggesting that prior to this community mining at Kwabere, there was no form of engagement whatsoever with anybody around?
Nothing, never. None of us are aware, because before we realize it is in the news that the government has cut a sword or is inaugurating a community mining. We prefer having that of the one district, one factory, and that of the planting for food and job than this community mining. It is better we go in for farming than community mining. That is what we prefer. What if he says no? Then the youth of Nzema will just get up. We will rise up and then deal with the president or the government. Either we demonstrate, or we will not allow, or we'll talk to our gods. We know we have gods. We'll talk to our gods on the land, and we know our gods will hear us.